Hi, my name is Ryan, and I have had fibromyalgia for 14 years. It happens to be right at my anniversary at this point. I have had all kinds of treatments and spent a lot of money on trying to treat my fibromyalgia, and it's a very frustrating disease. It's very painful. In terms of other types of pain, it's hard to, say, oh, it feels like this or feels like that, because there's really no feeling like fibromyalgia. It is very specific. Anyway, and by the way, I am not a doctor. I'm a patient. I may know quite a few things medically, but that's purely because of my condition, because I've had to go through the system. I had to go through the years it took to even be diagnosed with fibromyalgia. It took a long time. And so after 14 years, why am I talking about this? Because it cuts my pain easily by 50 to 75%. Now, in comparison, this is Vicodin right here. This is hydrocodone, Norco, whatever they call it. And these pills I use in a pain emergency. Okay, so if the pain is so bad that I am panicked and that I am desperate, I take one of these. And generally, I only take one. It used to be once every 5 days. Now, I used to be on 6 of these a day, plus 6 methadone, plus 2 Klonopin, and muscle relaxers, all kinds of crap. Okay, and what did that do for my pain? At best, it took it from like a 9 down to a 7. Okay, barely touched it. In the last 14 years, I don't think my pain has ever dropped below a 6 out of a scale of 1 to 10. Now, that is hard to imagine living with if you don't have fibromyalgia or you don't have chronic pain. It is, I had UPPP surgery, which is where they take out your tonsils, your uvula, and your upper soft palate for sleep apnea. I had that taken out, and they say, they say that getting your tonsils out as an adult is extremely painful. For me, it was only a 5 on that pain scale. It radiated to my ears, then it got up to about a 6. But my surgeon warned me, like, hey, I'm just letting you know this surgery is going to be very painful. And it was. I don't mean to, it is very painful. But in terms of what I was already dealing with, it was nothing. I was on morphine as I came out of surgery. I stopped after 2 uses. That was not a big deal in comparison to what I was already dealing with. So that might give you some insight as to the level of pain I've been dealing with on a constant basis for the last 14 years. And so when I tried this out and I found it effective, I was pretty surprised. I tried it just at my chiropractor's office with a really expensive laser, and I was blown away by how well it worked. And so, I've been doing all kinds of research trying to find lasers I can use at home, that kind of stuff. So I did all that. And I can tell you right now, it's effective. It's not a cure. Okay, I don't want to mislead anyone. I know what it's like having fibro. I know the amount of promises that get made to you. I know the amount of stuff you're sold on and it doesn't work, or it only works just a little bit. It doesn't really do anything for you. So it's a very frustrating disease in that respect. So I don't want to mislead anybody and tell you that it's going to make it all better. It's not going to. I'm going to have fibromyalgia till I die unless they find a cure. In terms of treatment, laser has been transformative. I used to not be able to stand for more than a couple minutes without being in agony. Now I find I can stand for about 20-30 minutes before I'm in agony. Which is, that's a huge win. And so, it's really been effective. So, but a couple of things to just, tell you about. Laser is expensive. It's very expensive. You know, like I said, the first one I used was $25,000 at a doctor's office. You don't need that. It may be great if you can have one, but you don't need it. You know, it may take a little bit longer to do it with a home laser, but you can do it from home. You know, the travel back and forth to the doctor's office and the expense. It may be great for someone that has, you know, a bad shoulder and they just need to get that fixed. But for someone who's got a chronic condition, needs to use it every day, that scenario just doesn't work. It gets way too expensive, way too quick. I was going in twice a week, and I had to drive an hour away to get to it, and it was, I mean, the relief was there, but it just wasn't practical to keep going like that. So, so that's one of the downsides. And the other downside is it takes a little time, you know. For me, depending on the day I'm having, I can laser for 15 minutes in a day. Sometimes over the course of a day, I may laser, I don't know, for a total of an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on how bad I am and what's going on. And I basically just treat the areas that are worse first, you know, whatever's, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. So I basically follow it and treat whatever's bothering me. One thing I do treat a lot of is it back here in my neck, and I find that's very helpful. But like on my feet I've been walking on, you know, like those stun guns, you know, it's like I've been walking on those for the last 14 years. And, you know, I've been able to laser my feet and feel a lot better, just being able to stand, just being able to walk around. Lasering my hips, that's made a huge difference in helping me stand. I get sciatica a lot. My sciatic nerve just, anybody who has ever had that, they know that's painful. It helps out a lot. So laser does a lot of things, and I've let other people use my laser, and I've had some pretty fun results. But it's just one of those things where there's a lot of videos out there like this that are, I don't know, a little too granola. And not that I'm against that, not that I'm against the whole, you know, Zen being at one with nature and all that stuff. I get that, and I'm not against it. But I'm afraid it might turn normal people off from it, like it turns into one of those, oh, it's a holistic thing and all that good stuff. And it is. I haven't taken Vicodin or anything, not ibuprofen or Tylenol or anything, since February of 2016, and I'm making this in May. Or maybe it's, I think it might be at the end of April. Fibro fog is still there, guys. But anyway, I haven't taken any pain pills pretty much since right after I got my laser. And so that's impressive. That's something that I think anybody that has fibromyalgia or chronic pain would be pretty happy with. And it's nice when you've got something that's flaring up on you and you can just put the laser on it. And what I find is after using laser for a while, you seem to react quicker to it. Your body gets used to it, but in a good way. And so if I've got something that's bothering me, I'll laser it, and it's pretty much better in like 5 minutes. So, I mean, that's quicker than a pill. You know what I mean? So there's a reason I'm excited about this. There's a reason I've you know, I'm doing all this, because it's, why don't more people know about this? You know what I mean? I don't understand it. I mean, I do. You know, there's a lot more money in pills, and you know, there's always people that will say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh, it's a scam, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, there's a legitimate reason for why people will feel that way, because there have been a lot of scams, there has been a lot of snake oil, there has been a lot of stuff that just doesn't work, but people spend money on it. And so I wanted to put out a reasonable voice and just give you my experience and tell you that it is worth trying, whether you try it at a clinic, whether you know, buy a laser and use it at home, whatever the case, it's worth it. Anyway, hopefully this video helps you guys. I'm hoping that people with chronic pain, fibromyalgia, you know, things that are, you know, really difficult to treat otherwise, it's worth, you know, giving laser a shot if it fits within the treatment that laser is supposed to be beneficial for. One thing I do is that when certain things come up, I will Google whatever the condition is, and then LLLT, and then just kind of look for some research that might have been done on it. And this is funny. The other night I had hiccups, and it was really bad, and it was painful. You know, those are the kind of hiccups that's just like, it hurts your chest. You know, it was that kind of hiccups. And I'm like, I wonder. I Googled hiccups and LLLT, and it came up that they did find it was useful. And so, but it's surprising you wouldn't do it in here where you're having the hiccups. You do it in your ear. So I put the laser on my ear, and by the time I moved over to this ear, my hiccups had stopped completely. Which that sounds a little fantastic, but it worked. So, you know, that's kind of anecdotal and stuff like that, but the applications for these things are incredible. So anyway, I want to check my notes here and make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, yes. You know, I've been introducing doctors to this. I took this to a few of my doctors and explained to them how I've been feeling, and they're like, oh, wow, I've heard something about it, but I hadn't really heard it in action. I haven't seen it in action. I didn't really get any feedback on it. It's still relatively new. And so, and I've talked to people that specialize in chronic pain, and I've actually gotten responses back, oh, no, that's all placebo effect. Are you kidding? Definitely not placebo effect. I know placebo effect. There's some things that can be attributed to placebo effect and other things that cannot. My brother's dog has a messed up ACL, and I lasered her ACL. She's able to put weight on her foot again. Now, I'll tell you this right now, a dog doesn't know that you're lasering them. I mean, they can see the light, but they don't understand that's supposed to make them feel better. They don't know placebo effect. They have no idea. She's walking better. And, you know, it's going to take her a long time. She's going to have to use it a long time, but it worked. And with a number of people that have tried it and had, like, actual motion restored, a guy that had his shoulder, he couldn't lift it over his head, certain things, he tried it, it worked. I mean, and that was one of those things where it was instant. I mean, he was just, like, moving his shoulder around. I mean, it's been really neat to be able to put this laser in people's hands and have them try it out. It's, for me, I'm kind of looking for things that don't respond to it, and it's kind of weird to do because I'm not a doctor. You know what I mean? I'm just someone that's got one of these things, and I'm curious about it. One of the other things is that massage therapy. Massage therapy is good for people with fibro, and I know that's been one of my favorite treatments. It's been very helpful. In terms of relief, it does not compare to laser. Laser is far more effective than massage therapy. And I have an excellent massage therapist, and she is, I mean, I've been through some massage therapists. I'm a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to that, and she's extremely good. But after I come out of a session with her before the laser, it was, you know, I was sore because there's a lot to be worked on. There's a lot of stuff to be worked out. When I first got the laser, I brought it in and said, hey, I want you to try this out, and I want you to use it on me when we get to those trouble spots. And she did, and she was able to feel like my leg gets really tight. And she used it, and she's like, wow, it just melted away. I mean, the amount of tension that was there just went away. And same spot with my shoulder, and yeah, I mean, just stuff like that. But the last thing I will say about the laser and what it's done for me, fibromyalgia messes with your head. Anybody who's had it for, say, longer than a year or two will tell you, if they're being honest, that it messes with your head. It makes you feel like you might be doing this to yourself. It might be psychosomatic. It might be something that is just a result of you just being down on yourself or something like that. It's nuts. I mean, it wasn't even considered a real disease until they started selling pills for it. Then it became real. Surprise, surprise, right? But for me, it was a bit of validation. When I felt it go away, when I felt that pain relief, when I felt my legs not have that screaming sensation, when I felt that my arms go away, it was like, okay, you know, something made it better. That means something has to have been wrong, right? Because prior to that, you couldn't even guarantee that it was wrong. You couldn't even, there's no test for it. There's just, hey bear, come here buddy. I'm making a video, all right? Oh boy. Newfoundland, what are you gonna do? But it was validation. You know what I mean? It told me that I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm crazy, okay? But it wasn't something that I made up. It wasn't something that it was. This is real, and this is seriously disruptive. I mean, I have to bail out on things that I really shouldn't bail out on because my system's shutting down. Okay, and do I look like I have fibromyalgia? Do I look like, I mean, I'm a big, healthy, normal guy. So it messes with your social stuff too. People don't understand when you've got to leave. People don't understand when you can't make it somewhere because you're not feeling well. And if you were to really explain how unwell you're not feeling, it's going to depress the hell out of them. It depresses the hell out of me. So, you know, it made all of that real. It made all of that less of a thing that, you know, it's not hypochondria, it's not some sort of thing that, you know, it's not yuppie disease or whatever else. It is real and it is brutal. So having something that actually is effective when something like morphine and Vicodin and all these other pills, Neurontin, Lyrica, none of that crap did anything for me. In fact, some of that stuff put me in the hospital because it was just so, I mean, I had such bad reactions to it. So, you know, having something that works, something that's not drug related, something that is just so effective, I don't know, this should go out there. And so if you know, I would ask that you share this video with someone that you know could use this. You know, I sent this up to some family members who really needed it. And I know people that have fibromyalgia and other chronic conditions. And I'm sharing it with them because if someone had shared this with me 14 years ago, my life trajectory might have been a little bit different, right? It wouldn't have been as much of a struggle. I could have coped with some things a little bit differently. I could have handled my life entirely differently. And so, I mean, it can truly change someone's life. And I don't want to be sensationalist about it, but it really can. And so share this with someone who could use it. And you know, you know, you can go to chronicpainlaser.com and read the stuff on there. You know, if I've got inexpensive, you know, sources on lasers, I'll put them on there. But really, I don't care where you get the laser from. If you've got something that could be treated with it and it's something that really makes a difference, get it however you got to get it. You know what I mean? Just try it out. I don't know. It is one of those things that I'm just blown away that more people don't know about it. I'm blown away at the lack of knowledge within the medical community that they don't know about something like this. And I mean, for example, you know, I've been doing all kinds of research on this. People with pneumonia, as far as I understand, as far as everything I could read, they appear to respond very well to laser therapy. Pneumonia kills a lot of people. I mean, straight up kills a lot of people. Why isn't this in ERs? Why isn't this in places like that? It should be. I don't know. I'm going to go rambling on, so I'm going to go ahead and end the video because obviously I get a little passionate about it because it means something to me. But anyway, please share this with someone who could use it. And this is one of those videos that I'm not normally in front of the camera. It's not my thing. I don't like being the center of attention. It's just not my thing. But this is one of those subjects that is so important that I felt I needed to get in front of the camera and talk about it. I don't know. It's just that important. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching.